What's up? Welcome back. I'm John Stark, MacMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and today I'm back with Nosferatu, the extended cuts, which is just dropped on Peacock. So this gives me an opportunity to talk about Nosferatu with audio description, which actually, I don't know if you realize this, even though I nominated the film and put it on a bunch of lists, and it is my winner for Best Original Score, I was not provided an audio description for this movie the first time through, but I was picking up what this movie was putting down, and I liked it a lot. And I will tell you why in my second look at Nosferatu. But before I do that, click like and subscribe. I need people right now in my life with all the attacks on the disability community that are happening sort of through the attacks on DEI. And people are sort of passively just enjoying watching disabled people be kicked to the ground. I'd like for as many people to help me push forward my continued discussion on audio description and accessibility. I was doing this long before. You can go back and watch some of my old videos. This is not new. I'm not jumping on a movement. I was doing this before, and yes, I benefit from companies that support DEI because it means that they support accessibility for people like me. And I'm like, have you heard blind film critic from anyone else before? So Nosferatu, let's talk about it. So the second time through, I don't, okay, so I think part of the problem is that because I didn't have audio description, I can't definitively tell you what the fuck is different about this extended cut. I have no idea. I could have watched this and been fully convinced it was the actual theatrical cut and not have known any difference. So if you're looking for is the extended cut better than the theatrical cut? Man, I didn't know. I had no idea. I saw the other one once, and then I watched this. So I've seen this movie now twice. And I would watch this again, theatrical or extended. I like the movie still. It didn't change my opinion of it, but I thought it was funny. I was sitting there going, what did they extend? Oh God, I have no idea. So, because I was just looking for context, I was looking for audio description to bring things together in a unique way. There's a little bit of translation. There was a sequence where they went, where Nicholas Hoult is over, and the citizens of the world around Count Orlok are yelling at him in a language he doesn't speak, and I didn't get that translation, but now I get it, and it's clarified for me even more. And it's funny how, like, just getting clarity on some things, and it's like I felt like I knew where this movie was going, so I gave it sort of like a floating grade, and ended up still, I put it on my top list because I knew the film did have audio description. It did exist. Would I move it up or down on my top 25 of the year? Man, that's tough. I don't know that it would change much. I think it's the best thing that Robert Eggers has directed. I think he shows a love for where cinema was and where cinema is now. Like, this is a more violent, gory version of, even more sexually explicit version of Nosferatu than what we got in 1922. But there's a lot of throwback to cinema of yesteryear. I love that word. Yesteryear. So it feels like somebody who has a great love of, those silent movie monsters from back in the day, and those great old school horror movies. And he's bringing a little bit of that here, but he's mixing it a little bit here with his own stuff. There's even maybe a little bit of a nod to something like Last Voyage of the Demeter, and how that was, just a chapter taken out of Dracula, which Nosferatu's sort of just Dracula, for being honest. It's like the same story. So uh, he's he's sort of paying a lot of homage all over the place, and that's what I like about it. Also, the score is just golden. I don't know why this film hasn't been nominated in more places for score. I love the score to this movie. I think it's lush. I think when I listen to score, um, this is the one, I ask myself, would I remember the score? Like, is the score, first of all, of course, like Wicked, yes, because I've been listening to Wicked for like 20 years, so I think that's cheating. But, so I'm not counting Wicked. Like, what am I going to remember? And I'm thinking if somebody plays Nosferatu, just the score, and goes, which movie is this? I think I would know it was Nosferatu. Um, and there are a couple other scores like that I felt were really strong, like Challengers. I really like Conclave's score, especially after having seen that film twice. But I don't know. Not every single score do I just go, yep, I would recognize that score. um, and the performances, I didn't give Nicholas Hoult enough credit the first time through. I probably should have had him on my supporting actor list, even though he is sort of a lead, like a co-lead. He and Bill. Actually, I think he has more screen time than Bill Skarsgård does, to be honest. But I mean, the film, it's one of those cases where it's like Emilio Perez, where you give the person the lead because the film is about them. So somehow Nicholas Hoult, even though he has more screen time, would probably be in supporting, even though, because I mean, Bill Skarsgård is Nosferatu, and it's a great performance. I think about that voice that he's using, and I'm like, I want like a making of featurette to know, like, is he modifying? Are they modifying it at all? Like, how's he doing that? Um, so it's chilling. It's a great performance from him. Bill is obviously great at playing like weird characters, especially like in the horror world. Like, he loves playing this type of thing. So, between it, he's also, he's got Barbarian under his belt, even though he's just like the straight man in that movie. He seems to thrive in horror movies, is the thing. So, uh, yeah. And the supporting cast, we got Willem Dafoe, Emma Corrin, Aaron Taylor Johnson. Everybody does great. That's all great work here. And Lily Rose Depp proves she can act. She can act her face off. She does not have that many credits. It's really easy to throw the word Nepo baby at her, but I think that's really unwarranted if you watch this movie. She could have auditioned for this movie as Jane Doe and probably still gotten the part. So the fact that she is a Depp does not necessarily mean that's why she got cast in this film. So, I mean, Bill Skarsgård, right? I mean, I guess you could call him a Nepo baby, but are you saying he can't act? Because he obviously can, you know? Um, anyway, I like Nosferatu still. I think it's gothic. It sets themes and moods. It's, I don't know if it's a film that I'm going to rewatch over and over and over, but it's a film that I really enjoyed. I don't know how many films like this I watch over and over and over, because it's not a happy movie. When you talk about those films that you rewatch over and over and over, like comfort movies, unless you are a horror buff to where horror as a genre is your comfort zone, you don't tend to rewatch it. I think for me, the only exception to the rule is Scream. Like some of the Scream films as a franchise, because I grew up with Scream, that I've seen Scream 1 through 4 more than probably any other horror movie like it. There are a couple other films that I've seen, I don't know, more than 2 or 3 times. But it's compared to like rom-coms and kids movies and stuff like that, yeah. And some action movies. Um, It's not a genre that I watch nearly as much as some other films. So, yeah, I I would totally watch Nosferatu again, but I don't know how many times I'm going to be prompted where I'm going to feel the Nosferatu in my bones, because it's not even a horror comedy. It's a straight up like horror drama, gothic drama horror, something like that. Somewhere in there is the genre. Uh, but it's hella good, and Robert Eggers had already regained a lot of footing for me. I love that Ari Aster and Robert Eggers, for me, have both gotten better as directors, because they have films that I don't like, and then they have films that I do like. I really don't like The Witch. I despise The Witch. I really fucking hate The Witch. I've seen that movie twice, sighted. I haven't seen it yet blind with audio description, but I saw the movie twice as a sighted person, still while I had vision, and I still hated that movie. It was one of those films where I saw it and I hated it, and then everybody else was just like, "Oh, The Witch, The Witch, The Witch, The Witch is so great, it's so great, it's so great, it's so great." It's so, I was like, "Fuck, I'll give it a second chance." So I watched it again, and I was like, "I still hate this movie. This movie is really slow and it doesn't make any sense." Um, so I've never gotten into The Witch. I think Hereditary for Ari Aster is overrated, and I do. And but then I look at the other films that he's done, and he paces himself on Midsummer a lot better. He balances a lot of sort of dramatic themes before he ever gets to the gore and violence. He sort of spreads it out a little bit more. And then Beau's Afraid was terrific. I love Beau's Afraid. I thought that was a great movie. I thought it was a crazy sort of odyssey we're on with Joaquin Phoenix. I mean, there's a giant penis in that movie. It doesn't bother me. You know, it's just like he's at fight with, I don't know. And I mean, the movie is nuts. But it showed why Ari Aster continues to grow as a director. And I think Robert Eggers has been on that same journey, going from Witch to Lighthouse to Northman to this. Um, he continues to get better. It's like his budgets have expanded, but also he hasn't lost who he is as an artist. He just continues to make better work. So I'm excited for both of those directors and what they do next. Whereas I wasn't originally on their first films. I originally was not like, I don't know about this. So yeah, I'm one of the few people who doesn't like Hereditary. I outed myself as that. Please, people are gonna run now. People are like, unsubscribe. I loved Hereditary. I want to love it. I love Toni Collette. I mean, if Toni Collette had gotten a nomination for Hereditary, I would not have fought it. So I think she's a lovely actress, and I hate the fact that she's only got one Oscar nomination for The Sixth Sense, because I could list like 5 more times that she should have been nominated by now. So, yeah. Nosferatu, check it out if you haven't. It's on Peacock. It's gory, it's icky, it's sexy in all the wrong ways. It's like, it's everything. And I have no idea what they extended. So, I'm giving Nosferatu an A. So, that's it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And remember, inclusivity is not a bad word. And I'll see you guys on the other side.